really being able to nail it the way we think he is, people are going to be pretty excited. This is a guy that has done some of the most epic stuff around. So we're really geeked up about the possibilities.
That's exciting. So hopefully we'll hear more about the screenwriter. Then, I mean, casting and all that. I mean, is it a point where you have to get the script done before you start thinking about who's going to be in the film?
Yeah, I mean, our big goal is to have a screenplay put together, hopefully before Sam really gets deep into Spidey 4, and so that's something that we're working on extensively at this point. We've got some of our best creative talent internally on it, so like Chris Metzen and Rob Pardo are the two chief kind of creative visionaries that are within Blizzard that are working in collaboration with Sam and the screenwriter. So what I think is key about this is that you know that there's going to be a real Blizzard flavor to this. I mean, obviously, being that it's set in the Warcraft universe, but it's going to really have some attention from the key people that have helped create the universe and have created the lore and the characters and all the environments, together with the fact that our teams will also be influencing our guys to make sure the right mixes of all the right things are there.
We actually had a question on Twitter about the movie. You started looking at a composer from Randy Deluxe, was wondering if it's going to be Russell Brower, or is it going to be someone externally, or have you made that? Yes.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that point yet. I think that that's something that, you know, Sam will have a big opinion about, as you might imagine. And so, you know, that's something that's going to come a little bit later. Right now, we're focused on really trying to make sure that there's, you know, an incredible amount of communication and understanding of what all the key creative folks are thinking. And so Chris and Rob and Sam and the screenwriter are doing that. We want to make sure that's gelling really well. Then once we've got that figured out, we've got the screenplay in hand, then the other elements are going to start falling into place. So then you start thinking about casting, you start thinking about composers and who you're going to have doing all the other key elements of the building the picture.
Well, let me ask you about visual effects, too, because you guys do such amazing cinematics at Blizzard. Is there interest amongst your guys to actually sort of, you know, support the movie with some visual effects?
Well, I would certainly say that there's a lot of interest, right? I mean, there's when you look at the long conversation that this has been over the years. Right. Chris Metzen and I spent probably a period of 3, 4, 5 years going up, meeting with studio heads, meeting with different screenwriters, producers, you know, financiers, all these different folks, trying to find the right people. And so basically, we're going through all of that and trying to make sure that every piece is in the right spot. So,
are you going to wait until you have a screenwriter in place before you decide exactly what part of the story you're going to tell of the lore?
Well, we have a vision of what we're hoping it to be. Right. We've gone through a lot of iterations of that over the last number of years. And the good news is the screenwriter, Sam, and our guys, I think, have a pretty good idea of what they want the general framework to be. And so they're working on trying to fill in all the right spots and get it to really breathe. So, you know, we're in that process. It's a hard one, but I think with the people that we have involved, we're going to get it right.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go now to Twitter, because we're having people submit questions on Twitter this year on BlizzCon. And you can Twitter me at Jeff Keighley, also Kat at Kat Hunter, and also at the DTV with questions. Now, I asked people on Twitter for questions for you. One comes from Jeremy Lamont, and he says, Paul, what's the ratio of resources at Blizzard devoted to new development versus maintenance of World of Warcraft? Is there much overhead?
Well, we have multiple product development teams. So when you're talking about it purely from a development perspective, the World of Warcraft team has well over 100 people who are dedicated solely to working on the game, the expansions, the content updates, etc. There's a bunch of other people beyond that are supporting that game. So there's guys in the cinematics team that are doing some of the cutscenes or doing the, you know, the fully rendered out cinematics. We've got people that are in the sound department and, you know, in our quality assurance fund. There's all these people that support that. So it's a major focus for the company. At the same time, we've got multiple other development teams. We've got the StarCraft 2 development team. We've got the Diablo 3 development team. We've got a couple of other development teams that are doing some stuff that we'll be talking about at a later time. And so
there's only one unannounced game. Is there two now? Are there two unannounced games?
There's Battle.net, right?
That's
I mean,
true,
so
right?
I guess there's Battle.net and then there's the unannounced. So, but you know, those folks are all very, very busy doing what they're doing. We had the opportunity to see a little bit of what we're working on with StarCraft 2 here at the show, and Diablo 3 with the new character class. So there's a lot going on. But when you getting back to your question, you know, we have a huge group of people that are in service as well. So we've got over 3,500 employees 25-ish hundred or so are service folks, and then the rest is made up of developers and kind of headquarters staff of sorts. So the people that are doing all the marketing, the PR, and all that kind of stuff. So, but World of Warcraft, it's a major focus. I mean, there's no denying it. It's a big one, and it takes a lot of attention from around the company.
There was a lot of news this year for Blizzard regarding China and about changing things about how you operate in that country with WoW. What's going on right now?
Well, we were working with a company previously when we first launched World of Warcraft. That relationship with our contract came to an end in June, and we decided to move our World of Warcraft business over to another company called NetEase. NetEase is one of, if not the, local leader in China, and excellent company. We really gel with them because they're also a developer, so they have a lot of the same principles on how they run their business and how they want to interact with the customers, how they want to focus on the gamers to make sure that the gamers are always first and foremost in our company and their company's mind. So prior to us moving the World of Warcraft business over, we had decided to sign with them for StarCraft 2 and Battle.net. Well, as you probably heard about, or you're going to hear about, we're going to be trying to bring forth all of our products onto Battle.net. And the same concept goes in China. If we had our products between two different companies, well, that would have our entire community separated. And so also by bringing World of Warcraft over to NetEase, where StarCraft and Battle.net will be, we're going to be able to bring all of the players in China together in one place on Battle.net for these two games, as well as all the future Blizzard games and beyond. So we think it's the right move for us, and we feel like, you know, the things that we've seen from NetEase so far are on a daily basis are proving that the decision is right. They're just a great company, great management, great folks that put the customer first, and that's what we really concentrate on at Blizzard every day is players, players, players.
Now let me ask you about expanding the business. You've done a lot globally, obviously. I think one question we get a lot on Twitter from folks is, you know, asking about the video game console space. Blizzard, you know, totally dominates the PC space. You're one of the few companies that sort of is still on PC right now. You guys are dominant, obviously, and you know, you're one of the few companies I think can be really successful in the PC space. But you guys have not done a lot in the console space. StarCraft Ghost was talked about for a long time. That's no longer in development. Are you guys actively thinking about the console space still, or?
We're actively thinking about console all the time. We have been forever. The question always comes down to, is the game we're making right for that platform? We focus on what the game is, first and foremost, what our developers want to play next, because they're all gamers, and as a result, what they want to make next. We really try to listen to the players out there. We see how they like the different types of games we make, and ultimately, that's really the focus as it relates to that. But then you say, okay, console, well, the big deal for us is, let's come up with the game we want to make. If it's right for PC, it'll go there. If it's right for console, it'll go there. But are we going to force ourselves onto console because it's going to give us access to a broader audience? No, it's not. That's not the reason. That's not the reason. You know, people think, oh, well, you do it because you'll make more money there. Well, not necessarily. Right. We have a pretty captive audience on the PC, and console is much more crowded. It's also a more difficult business model, candidly, because you're having to cut in all of the console publishers. Right. And to be honest with you, from a business perspective, not necessarily the right answer, but bottom line, it's all about the player. Is this game right for it? And if we find that these games that we're developing are right for console, it'll go there. It's just got to be about the game.
But with 4 games in development right now, do you think that your developers design with that in mind, or is that never going to come into play?
I didn't...
I mean, you have 4 games that are in development right now, so you could, if it's all about the game and whether the game is right, well, the designer could just say, well, I'm going to design the game for the console business.
Well, we certainly could, but I think the game developers have a vision of what they want to play. Right. Some people are really pro-console, right? I mean, I play a lot of console games, maybe even sometimes, depending on what games are out, more than PC. If StarCraft's out, then it's all about PC. Right. But otherwise, I like to do that. And I think, we have a lot of people saying, hey, we should put, this product or that product on console. But at the end of the day, when the team leadership on each of those products get together, they got to make a call. Are we going to be making compromises with our core audience on the PC by trying to put it onto a console? And if we think that we're going to have to make too many compromises in the gameplay experience that they envision is going to be compromised as a result, then we're not going to go there. I think that there